Yo, what is up, my Shadow Army? So does I, Shadow Critias, back again with another MHA What If video. So this is the part 3 and final part of what if Kage and Jack was Isekaied in the Marvel universe. If you have not seen the last two previous parts, go check that out because this one not making sense to you. Plus, I do not own the art of Jack. It was made by the person his name will be in down below the description box. The character is made and owned by 212 Trooper. And this will cover the end game and everything else. And so basically, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it because, like I said in my last previous video, that this might be short than the others because it's mainly focusing on end game. So basically, everything goes out like the original story where Tony and Nebula, and that's her name, yeah, Nebula, were found by Captain Marvel, brought them back to Earth, and the other members of the Avengers who did not snapped, and basically, Tony basically wanted nothing to do with it, and Kage, well, he's there, but hasn't said a word, just sitting in the corner side, and have his arm basically in the casket, not a casket, fuck, what are they called, I forget what they're called, the thing that, holds your arm wait for your arm to heal or something like that. And so basically, even though Kage is a tough person, he could place his arm back together, but he refused not to. After he just lost his cousin right in front of him, he's, well, not there. And, I mean, he could hear, but he's just not there, you know? Hearing Tony Stark lash out, like in the actual movie, and actually admitted that he blamed himself for all this to happen. He actually admitted it, but also brings out, you know, he blames Captain America that we're supposed to work together as a team, and we lose. And we end up losing. And so basically, and there was a time that he will blame Kage for not saying anything about other things, even though Kage did warn them about Thanos, the Infinity Stones, and his plans and everything else. And it's all because of Tony Stark created Ultron. It happened because of him. So basically, Tony is falsely blaming for everything, honestly, and Stark cannot deny it. That is his fault. And Tony realized Jack is not there, so basically he got snapped as well. So basically, Kage, well, just been sitting there, has not moved an inch, and they trying to figure out how to find Thanos thanks to Nebula, who knows where he could be. So he's their leading option. So the planet he's at, that's where he'll be. And that caught Kage attention. Finally got up from his seat, walking to them quietly. Just his look is just empty. And his eyes are just nothing but hollow. Just nothing. Just say no words. And he's ready to kill the bastard. Just calm, cold. Just, he felt nothing. Because he just witnessed his cousin gone right in front of his eyes. And in his mind, how would his uncle react to this if he told him about this? But if there's a way to bring them back, and Kage finally spoke up, said, "Don't." And they all looked at him and Cap like, "What do you mean?" He already used the stone. He already destroyed it. And this caught them by surprise. Like, wait, what do you mean? And he explains that when Thanos used the stone to wipe out the population in that planet, and he used the stone again to destroy it itself. So Thanos has already destroyed the stone. So they think he's lying. There's no way. How? Like, how is that even possible? And Cage like, if you don't want to believe me, go see it for yourself. I'm not going. So Cage is basically just gonna set this one out. So he's basically gonna be sitting in the Avengers headquarters alone, while the other Avengers see them for himself, beating up Thanos, and then they see that Cage was right, that the Infinity Stones are gone and been destroyed. So basically Thor cuts Thanos' heads off. So basically, yeah, thing goes out like the actual movies. So basically we get 5 years later in the year of 2023, which is confirmed by the actual timeline in the Endgame, which takes place right after Infinity War 2018, 5 years later to 2023. So basically, for the past 5 years, Cage's arm is fully healed. Like few months later, during in the year 2018, and Cage decided to basically go Japan along with Hawkeye to basically killing any mafia boss that did not get erased. So basically both Hawkeye and Cage became the Deadly Alliance, and they call themselves, well, the Deadly Alliance, where Hawkeye called himself the Ronin, where Cage decided to go back to his actual vigilante name, the Night Slasher. So basically him and Hawkeye have been killing mafia boss thugs who didn't deserve to live, while half of the population on Earth has been erased. And when Cage learns that Hawkeye just lost all of his family, his wife, his kids, and his baby, and Cage will understand, because after all, Cage and Jack did live with Hawkeye and his family, and Hawkeye knows that Jack is not with him, so that destroyed Cage physically and emotionally. So basically, the Avengers are still trying to find a way to how to get everything back to normal, and that's where Bruce Banner, who is now fused with the Hulk, just like in the movie after Hulk got his ass whooped by Thanos and the Wakanda. So basically, Bruce Banner used the Hulk Buster for the first time. So basically, the Hulk Buster never got damaged or anything. It's still brand new to be used. So basically, after 5 years, Bruce Banner does become the Hulk, like the actual movie, and they're trying to get everyone together. Black Widow shows up in Japan, finding Cage and Hawkeye, that there is a way we could bring them back. And Cage knows what they're trying to do, but at this point he does not care, because it's just going to be the same outcome. Even though he tries to warn them and try to change the events for their life, and it just happens again. So he's a bit frustrated, but whatever. So basically, they decided to do the time travel thing to basically find all the Infinity Stones from different timelines. So basically, each of the Avengers are going the same timeline. What about Cage? Which group does he gonna tag along with? Well, before that, he does apologize to Tony Stark first, and Tony Stark actually does apologize to Cage as well. So basically, I want to make sure that cover that before Cage have a bit of regret. So basically, Kage would... I think he would go... I think Kage actually would go as Black Widow and Hawkeye. No, if that would have worked, because... Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I think Kage actually would go with... Nebula. No, Nebula wouldn't... No, we gotta keep it the in-game how it is, so fuck. So, I think Kage is basically gonna have to tag along with Tony Stark, Captain America, and Ant-Man. So, to get the Tesseract, fails. No, wait, in this scenario, Kage makes sure Loki does not escape from that timeline. So, Kage grabbed the Tesseract and without being noticed in the shadow. So, yeah. So basically, instead of going back in the past further, where Tony gets his closure with his father, and Cap meeting the love of his life one last time. So, yeah, instead of that, they got the Tesseract at the aftermath of the first movie, The Avengers, and Captain America got the staff, which they had the Mind Stone from the Winter Soldier. No, wait, that was... Yeah. Have the staff with the Mind Stone for the Captain American Civil War. Not Civil War, the Winter Soldier. Everyone got the Infinity Stones, and now making a new Infinity Gauntlet so they could try to bring everyone back. So Hulk, Bruce Banner, tested it, and then Hawkeye gets a text message from his wife. So now everyone is back. And Kage just felt relief, and his cousin is still at Wakanda. And until Thanos, well, just like in the movie, thanks to Nebula, the past Nebula used, or pretending to be the future, the current present of Nebula. The basic past Thanos arrive in the future timeline, aka the main timeline, and of course the battle begins. So basically, Cages fall alongside with Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor against Thanos. So basically it's 4 against 1, but everyone get their ass whooped badly. And of course Captain America does wielding the hammer like the actual film, and basically Captain America becomes like a one-man standing thing. He's gonna fight this alone until he gets a comm from Falcon telling him on your left. So basically every single portal opens. We see King T'Challa, Black Panther, along with his sister Shuri and Hokorie, and of course other members of the heroes, etc. And so basically all the heroes and few armies they have to fight against Thanos. So we get the epic moment where Captain America said, "Avengers assemble." So we get a all-out war with the Avengers against Thanos' army. Things goes on in the actual film. Tony get to see Peter Parker again. Kage is facing off against few of the big guys and the elite soldiers and normal soldiers, until things get out of hand, until someone comes in and saves the day. And Kage was about to get hit in the back of the head until someone actually saved his life. And that person is his cousin Jack, by kicking one of the enemy's head and send them flying. And Kage was about to find someone until Kage stopped and see who that person was. And Cage's eyes widened. And Jack was like, huh, hey, Cagey boy. Geez, what happened to you? You got older. I don't know what's going on. You weren't there, and now you're here. I don't know what's going on. And Jack is basically trying to process, like, what just happened. Like, he thought he was dead. He came back. Then he wasn't there. Then Kage, without the word, just hugs him. Just, like, hold him tightly. And Jack was surprised by this. And Kage said the word, I miss you, buddy. I really do. And Jack just felt his heart skip a beat and just hugs his cousin back and is like, I miss you too, Cagey boy. And Kage just can't help it but smile because he kind of did miss Colin that. And a tear a bit escaped in his eye. So basically, Kage and Jack decided to fight side by side against the enemies, helping some of the heroes one by one, and see that, yeah, everything was going well. And then Kage does come across two familiar people. Quicksilver aid Jack, and Kage is happy to see him. And then he sees the enemies trying to approach Kage until they're stopped by a red mist of magic. He recognizes who that person is. After this person sent the enemies away, Wanda approached Kage right in front of him, tears in her eyes, and see how Kage has got older. And for the past 5 years, Kage is basically 28. So, yeah, 28. Plus, since Wanda has been gone for 5 years, still 27 from the Infinity War, and she's been gone for 5 years. So basically, she's 32, but still at the age of 27, so to speak. Like, she looks like in her late 20s, but she's actually in her early 30s, basically 32. So basically, times is completely different where they're been sent at after they got erased. So yeah, Wanda is basically 5 years behind Kage now. Same goes for Jack, because when he was disintegrated, he was 21, but basically he's 26. Again, he's still 21, even though he's 5 years behind. He looks like 21, but he's actually is 26. So when Kage saw Wanda, they both embraced and had their actual kiss. And they just happy to see each other again, and he thought he would never see her again, and she thought the same as well. So basically, Kage is happy to see her. So now the people that he cares and loves are back. So basically, the battle goes on in the actual movie, and then they realize that they need to distract Thanos, where Tony gets the gauntlet. And Jack is wondering, what do you mean? So Kage actually explained that Tony is the one who could bring us to victory. He must wield the gauntlet. So basically, that's what they're going to do. And while Kage and Jack distracting Thanos, they give Tony a time to get the gauntlet, and he sees Doctor Strange give him the one finger that this is our one chance, one victory. So basically, Tony got the gauntlet, and Thanos is livid and realized that Tony was about to snap. And Tony basically gave his line that he is Iron Man. Snapped, and every single enemies of Thanos' armies are been erased. Same goes for Thanos, who just sitting down and accept defeat. but it came with a great cause. Tony Stark still ends up dead, as usual. There's nothing to heal that kind of injury, and yeah, and of course, everyone is having Tony Stark's funeral, and now, Steve decided to take the Infinity Stones back to the different timeline, and back to their previous timelines, along with a hammer. Thor goes with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Captain America doesn't return, but he stays back in his time to be with the woman his love. So basically, Captain America became old. Sam became the new Captain America. Kage basically tells Sam to keep the shield, don't give it away, because he did, because you felt unworthy. If Cap said that you are worthy, that you must use it with pride, so do not throw that away. So basically give the speech to Sam what he said in the show, from his world, from the show called Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a speech that's something that Falcon would say as a Captain America. And Falcon took that to heart, and he's going to remember that line, and he's going to use that when that time has come, and people are going to question of him being just a normal human with a military experience and combat, and fought through dangerous battles along with Captain America, and you can become a Captain America without the superhero serum. So basically, the Winter Soldier, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, kind of seem the same, but without, Sam have doubts on himself that he's not worthy to call himself Captain America. So that doesn't happen. I mean, it goes out the same, but Steve keeps the shield and be the Captain American that Steve wants him to be. So basically, since, wait, I forgot to mention this. Hold on, let me rewind this back for a second. Before Cap takes the stone, I forgot to mention this. I don't know why I basically rushing everything. Before Tony takes the stones back to the previous timeline, Kage asks Doctor Strange to use the Time Stone to rewind Cage, Jack, age back to their minor age, 17 and 15, and do the same for Wanda and her brother at the age of 17 as well. Which Doctor Strange is wondering why. Well, they think it's time for them that they should return back to their home, and Bruce Banner did told them that yes, they not only they made this for the time machine, but they also find a way to make this as a travel in different dimension. And they only have one trip there, and that's it. So basically, thanks to Jack giving information that Bruce Banner needs of the dimension where Cage and Jack are originally from, so he set a course, the coordinates of the dimension where Cage and Jack belong. So basically, Cage and Jack, and along with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, both of them at their younger age of 17s, plus minus Jack at the age of 15. So basically back to their younger self, still have the mature adult act, since, well, they're basically back as kids, but they have that adult attitude, so to speak, a grown, mature people. So basically, Cage, Jack, Wanda, and Quicksilver basically teleport back to Cage and Jack's world, aka My Hero Academia world. So I forgot to mention that part, that was on me. So basically, everything happens in the Marvel films, etc. So I forgot to mention that was on me. Honestly, that was my mistake. So basically, Kage, Jack are back home to their world and dimension with Wanda and Quicksilver. And as they return back, immediately, Mr. Ragnan actually found them, like, immediately after he sends Jack's present. That he was worried as hell that where the hell have they been? And then he sees two other people with them. And Kage is actually explaining that this is Wanda and Pietro Maximoff. And they a friend of theirs, and Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda, is his lover. So basically, Jack actually explained everything by sharing his memories with his father, what happened. So basically, not only they've been gone, even though they've been in the world of Marvel for the past, hold on, let me think. Give me 1 second. I need to add the time years they've been gone. So basically, they've been gone 11 years, so to speak. But since they returned back to their dimension, back as their minor age, they only been gone for a year. Almost a year, basically. So I guess their dimension is completely different than others, where when they in the Marvel universe, they've been gone for 11 years, but in their dimension, they've been gone like almost a year. So basically, completely different dimension and timeline of I can't even say the word. I can't think of anything on top of my head, honestly. Basically, different dimensions, different effects of the year gap of the different dimensions, so to speak. So, yeah. So basically, Mr. Arachnid was just amazed that they have grown and now they're back as the age of, what they were, but more mature. But Jack is still Jack. And Mr. Arachnid is glad to see his son and his nephew back by basically hugging them. And of course, he could tell, when their mothers sees them, they basically are going to be worried desperate, but they're glad they're okay and safe. When they return back home, both Mirko is hugging her son to death, and Ryuko is hugging her son, Kage, out of worriness. And so basically, Kage and Jack finally back home, and both Wanda and her brother Pietro are now the new students in UA, and basically, since they have nowhere else to live, they decided to, let's just say Pietro is going to live with Jack because he has that brotherly bond with him, and, Wanda is living with Kage. So, there was a time that, his mother kind of teased her son that having a woman live in his house while he's still living with his mother, which Kage kind of felt embarrassed by that. So basically, Wanda and Quicksilver, Pietro, basically start their new life and journey to be a professional pro heroes with actual hero license in the future, along with Kage and Jack. So yeah, so basically, everything is history. As much as I want to cover what would happen since Wanda and Quicksilver are now in the world of My Hero Academia with Kage and Jack, basically ended everything quickly, since Scarlet Witch is basically the most powerful person with her magic powers, could basically change reality. So, and even her fully mastered and control of her power thanks to Kage's help for training when they arrive back to Kage's world. So, yeah. So basically, everything went out smoothly. So yeah, that's the end of What If Kage and Jack was Isekaied in the Marvel Universe. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Links to my other channel, my social media will be down below in the description box. You know the drill. Links to my Cash App, PayPal, Ko-fi will be down below in the description box and in my bio if you guys want to donate to support the channel. And I'm honestly surprised this video is actually a bit longer than I expected. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Kneel before Critias, and I'll see you guys later.